is Ann Hegney. I first came to Costa Rica in December of 1996, and at that time my husband and I bought a piece of property and made a plan to move down here full-time. We moved here in 2000 and I've been here ever since. The changes that we've seen in this area have been unbelievable. When we decided to build the restaurant in 2003, there was nothing here. And in fact, I got a certificate from the Ministry of Health saying, okay, there is nothing in any direction, 500 meters each direction, so you can do whatever you want and nobody can come after you and complain about noise or smells or anything like that. So we hired a very well-known Costa Rican architect who built this beautiful design, and we opened up in December of 2003. Since we'd already been living in the area for a couple of years, at that point in time, there was absolutely nowhere to go to get a nice cocktail, a nice glass of wine, something to nibble on with your drink. It was all very rustic and Costa Rican style food and things like that, or the hotels. And so we knew that there was a niche in the market that wasn't being filled, and we decided that we were going to fill that niche. So initially, I wanted this to be a bar with some nibbles. And over the years, the food, which was quite simple and mostly Asian, but a little bit of Mediterranean, it became a little more complex because people kept asking for the more interesting, more complex, and even the more expensive dishes. I mean, I initially thought, oh yeah, people are going to want, you know, beans and dip and fried calamari and things like that. No, they wanted the jumbo shrimp. So we developed the menu, it became more interesting, and the change happened where the emphasis became the food as opposed to a bar with some food. I started out moving to France when I was 19 years old and studying cooking at the Cordon Bleu. I worked in restaurants in Paris and in Montreal, but then I had left the business. I'd been out of the cooking business for about 10 years before I opened Ginger. So at that time I had been doing a lot of French cooking, and when I decided to do this in the prior few years, I had done a fair bit of traveling in Asia, so I decided to go with the Asian theme in the food. This has always been a seasonal business. We're very busy from Thanksgiving through Easter. Then we have a few slow months. July and August are always busy again. We get a lot of European tourists, and we also get the North American tourists, the summer vacations, the school vacations. But because of the rhythm of the tourism trade, it gives me a lot of time in our down months to travel. And so I have traveled all over the world, and wherever I go, I make a point of doing cooking classes and wine tastings. And so I have, over the years, brought in elements of different countries' cooking, and we'll put a few dishes on the menu, and we'll be going in a sort of a Mexican direction one year, and then the following year we go a little bit more in a Thai direction. The last couple of years I've really been going more in an Indian direction. I've been taking cooking classes with a lady, an older lady in New York City who is Indian and who has written 20 or 25 cookbooks on Indian cuisine. And I just find that so interesting, and I like to be able to change it up and bring in different flavors and different influences. The other thing is, when I get to travel around, I get to see what's happening in the rest of the world. I see the trends, the new cocktails, and I think that has really helped us to up our game over the years to stay on top of what's new and interesting and fun in the restaurant business. We definitely don't want to sit on our laurels. This past year, I brought in a consulting chef from Chicago, a young guy I had met in his own restaurant. He had been working in a Michelin-starred restaurant in Chicago. So he came down for a couple of weeks and worked with us in the kitchen, and we tried a few new dishes. He gave us some suggestions. He helped us with our organization. It was a real eye-opener. And I think you have to be ready to always be changing and always be innovating and making things better. Along those lines, we have remodeled, renovated, and expanded the restaurant 3 times over the years. The last we did just in 2019, which was actually quite fortunate because the remodel, we removed all the walls and we removed all the inside parts. So when COVID hit, we were actually fully 100% outdoors. And so that was a big advantage to us. The business has changed a lot over the years. Having been open for 20 years, I've seen a lot of things come and go. We've been through every crisis, that has hit and managed to get through them and come back stronger. With all the changes over the years, we've also had a lot of things that have stayed the same. And so I have staff who have been with me since almost the very beginning. Heriberto, my chef, started 6 months after we opened, and he's still here. Nelsie, who is the second in command in the kitchen, has been here for 15 years. My maintenance people have both been here for more than 15 years, and the wait staff, I've got people who have been here for more than 10. So it's a really, really good team, and it means that the place pretty much runs itself. I mean, I have very little to do with the day-to-day operation of the restaurant anymore. When we're doing new dishes, when I want to change the menu, or I want to train, especially the kitchen staff, I will come in for a few days and we'll work together. But I have to say that I have it very well. My team runs this place like clockwork. So the restaurant in its current configuration, we seat 100 people at tables and then another 13 to 15 at the bar. We have some high tables as well we can add in. We have it divided into 2 decks, so it's pretty much 50-50. During low season, rainy season, we only use one of the decks, and we pack people in a little tighter. It's been our experience over the years that when you've got fewer people in the restaurant, you put them in a smaller space and it's much more of a convivial atmosphere, and consumption is always better. So given that we do we have about 120 seats, a normal night during high season will be anywhere from 100 to 160. Our biggest nights we've done over 200. Our top biggest night was a Christmas season night, December 27th or something like that. I think we did 250 people. The kitchen staff, we've currently got 7 people. We're in low season. We go up to 9 or 10 during high season. Same with the wait staff. We've currently got 5. We will go up to 10 in high season. Most of those extras are busboys and runners and assistants. Same in the kitchen, it's assistants, people who are helping slice and dice and chop and wash dishes and things like that. My good, key, skilled staff, I keep them year-round. Everybody's on salary, and just the training and keeping good people and having good people is so important that I don't look to cut them back. We don't cut their hours or their salaries or anything like that in low season because once I've decided I want to keep somebody, I keep them long term. So like I said, my head guy in the kitchen has been here since the very beginning. The second in command has been here for 15 years. Okay, on the floor in the dining room, the most senior waiter has been here for 10 years already, and the second in command, who's actually the head waiter, she has been here for 8. We have a very good team. They're very well trained and they're well worth paying what we pay them. We pay above standard in the area. I've had other restaurants come and try poach some of my staff, especially my kitchen staff, and we don't let them. We make the people want to stay. There's a good work environment. There is a good salary environment for them. The people that have been working with me for this long, they're happy, and I'm happy with them. We work well together, and it allows me to not work too hard. You know, this place runs pretty much by itself. I tend to do administrative kinds of work. The work that I do now with the kitchen is when we're changing dishes, we're changing the menu, we're putting new stuff on. And so I will then go in for a couple of days and work next to them. But for the rest of it, it pretty much runs itself. They do the ordering, they do the inventory counting, they put the inventory numbers into the system. So every 2 weeks we do an inventory count. We've got it all set up on spreadsheets on the cloud. So the bar guys do the bar inventory and they put that into the system. The kitchen guys do the kitchen inventory, put that into the system. So it allows me to keep very good track of what's going on with my numbers. My cost of sales in the bar is generally below 25%. My cost of sales for food is generally below 32%. Cost of sales is always better during high season when we've got a lot more volume. We have to be very careful in low season about waste because there's fewer people in the restaurant, so you have to watch what you're doing. But everybody is very aware. We've all done this for so long together that they know. We know if we put on one particular dish where our food cost is out of whack, we can tell in a couple of weeks. I can tell by the numbers, and we'll take a really good close look at it and maybe decide that, you know what, if we can't price that where we need to price it, maybe we don't need to sell that dish. We've been using an automated point of sale system since the first year we were open, so we've got all of our inventory control is in there. Our sales number, our employee time cards, everything is in the system. I have remote access to it, so I still travel a lot. I'm generally here for 2 weeks, and then I will go back to Chicago for 3 weeks, at which point in time I have complete remote access to the POS system. I see everything that's going along, and I do the bills, the bill paying, the supplier paying. I do the payroll. I can stay on top of all of that without being here. I have set up 2 different companies, 2 LLCs. One is the restaurant operating company and one is the real estate holding company. So the real estate holding company owns the physical plant of the restaurant, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And there are also 2 small 2-bedroom homes on the property that I use as long-term rentals, or in the past we've used them as housing for a live-in manager. We pay rent from the restaurant to the real estate holding company. The tax rate is much better having a high rent being paid to the holding company. So we take advantage of that. Since we own the real estate where the restaurant's located, I have complete freedom to do whatever I want. I don't have to deal with leases. I don't have to deal with landlords. If I want to change something or expand something or do anything different with it, it's completely up to me. It's also completely up to me how I structure the rental payments and the lease between myself and myself. It's between the restaurant operating company and the holding company, and I changed that. I've been obviously increasing the rent that I pay myself over the years as sales have increased, but we have complete freedom to do that and structure it according to the best tax outcome that we can get. We never did any marketing, ever. After we reopened after COVID, I thought to myself, okay, maybe it behooves me now to finally do something and think about this, because things were pretty slow. There weren't very many people around. And at that time, for the first time ever, I put up 2 billboards, one where you turn to come to Playa Hermosa, and one at the other end of the town, the other entrance to Playa Hermosa. The same year, we started doing some internet marketing, social media, Instagram, Facebook, Google ads, that kind of thing. We did a survey of all of our clients who are not regulars. Anybody who is unknown to us, we gave them a little card and we said, please fill this out on your way out. And they did, we insisted. And so we got very good data. And what it said was, how did you hear about Ginger? 50% said the billboard. 40% said word of mouth. People they had met on the beach, their hotel concierge, that kind of thing. 3% said social media marketing. So at that point I said, yay, and I stopped with social media marketing. The other thing that we've noticed in the past couple of years, obviously, world over, there has been inflation. Our prices went up after COVID. We raised our prices to compensate. And I keep a pretty close eye on what's going on in the other restaurants in the area. I have a little bit of a reputation for being expensive, but I am not the most expensive by far. I do really enjoy my reviews that I get on Google, because all of the people who say, yeah, it's a little pricey, but it's really worth it. So we have a certain amount of pricing power. I think with what is happening in this area, the growth that's happening, and the hotels that are coming in, the villas that are being built, the homes that are being built, this is very much more an upscale area than anywhere else around here. And that gives us a certain possibility to keep our prices where we want to keep them. So if I were young Anne coming again in to do this, what would I do a little bit differently? How would I change it or grow it? I think there's plenty of room to grow the business that exists in the evening, both by starting a little earlier and going a little later. There's nowhere to go in Playa Hermosa in the evenings. There are no bars, there are no lounges to hang out in. You go to a beach bar, but after the sun goes down, that's the end of that nightlife there. So there's certainly plenty of potential there. There is the potential to do some lunch trade. We have a beautiful outdoor, breezy area. The deck is completely shaded all the time. So there's now enough people in the area that there is a potential to do some lunch traffic. What would be changed here in the restaurant or with the cuisine or anything like that, we could take one area and turn it into a sushi bar. That's been suggested to me a couple of times. I've had people come in here a million times and saying, so do you do sushi? I don't do sushi. We could do sushi. You know, there's one area. Given that it's an Asian restaurant, it's definitely an area where we could grow. There are a couple of sushi places in Coco, but there's absolutely nothing like that anywhere near here. So there is a distinct possibility to do something with that. We've expanded the restaurant 3 times in the 20 years we've operated. The capital investment for another expansion, for me, would not be worth it at this point in time. I wouldn't try to expand the restaurant. I would try to increase the number of people I'm serving in the restaurant in any given period. The costs of construction and materials and all those kinds of things have gone up a lot. The kitchen is almost at its maximum of what it can do, its capacity. We squeeze a couple more people in during high season, but it's pretty tight. When I originally built this kitchen, I was coming from kitchens in Paris that are this big because real estate is so expensive. So I built a small kitchen thinking, okay, I'm going to do 20, 30 people a night and that'll be just fine. And in 2003, that was just fine. But now in 2024, if we wanted to do any more, you would need to pretty much gut the kitchen and start from scratch. There's just not enough room. In the past year, we have gone to a completely online reservation system, and it works phenomenally. We are now so much better organized, and we serve more people more efficiently, and it just runs that much smoother. We could use that to improve our sales, to improve how many people we can serve over the course of the evening. I have a lot of experience going out to restaurants in Chicago these days. When I'm in Chicago, which is a couple weeks out of every month, I'm out in restaurants at least 3 nights a week. And you need to work to get a reservation in all of these places. I want to be the restaurant where you need the reservation in Playa Hermosa. So rather than make it bigger and just easy to get into, I would rather keep it at this size and make it become the restaurant that is packed from 5 p.m. until close. And you can do that if you've got a decent organization reservation system. I love Costa Rica. I love Playa Hermosa. I love living here. The lifestyle is absolutely amazing. To be so close to the beach, to have this kind of weather, It's just wonderful. I've been living here now for almost 25 years, and I'm building a brand new house just around the corner from Ginger, and that's going to be my home to grow old in. I'm not going anywhere. I love this place.